Well, then I would use the 10 pump technique with it.
All right.
If that's maybe they have some sort of seal on it.
If you see leaking grease while it's running, like in a warm.
Yeah, I mean that would be an indicator over here that like yeah something's wrong. You know, like got a seal going out or something. Most of the time you won't really see grease flung. You know, you won't really see it. It's got to get really hot for it to get liquid. It stays pretty tacky even when it's hot.
Hot under there, yeah?
Yeah, no, I'm sure. So if it's leaking out from somewhere after you tilled it, you're
Right.
looking at a service issue coming.
Right, yeah, definitely. And if you see it leaking out, or even if you think you see it, it's not like over greasing it is going to be a problem. So you're like, you know, like if you're like, man, that thing looks like it's leaking, and I need to till another pass, like I would come and lube it and be like, all right, at least we got, you know, we can look at it in a minute, but we'll make sure that there's something in there in case anything's going wrong. You'll want to watch. This guy's full of fluid, right? So it's actually got oil up to this guy, into this little sight glass. And so if you see oil leaking from anywhere around here, you definitely want to, you know, yeah, stop. Yeah, there's a seal that goes around this whole thing. This hole comes off. And you can reseal
So there
it.
is a little bit leaking, but it's like where we were looking on the other side. Is
Uh-huh.
that grease or is that the oil from that housing? Should be the.
So you can tell the difference. So that's the oil from the housing. So we can see the difference because when you put that on your finger, you can feel the difference. I mean, yeah, let's compare fingers here. You know, yeah, you can feel it, and then you can also, you know, you can get a smell for it. This is like gear oil. You know, I don't know if anyone wants to smell what that is, but gear oil has a very distinct smell, just as different than motor oil, different than yeah. Yeah,
sure.
so it's kind of got a not bouquet. It's more like earthy. I don't know. It's a wine person would be able to describe it really well. It's got good florals or something. So yeah, so you know you have a leak now. Do you have to replace it and fix everything right now? In the perfect world, yeah. In reality, you're gonna get to it when it's raining. You know, I mean, the work's got to go on, whether you know, and it's got to get done before it starts raining. So I would say like, yeah, you notice you have a leak. And when you put this thing down at night, I would throw cardboard under it and see how much is it leaking, you know? Because if you notice that there's fluid underneath there, and it's like, and when it's sitting, you know that it's leaking just when it's sitting. But if you go under there and you're like, it doesn't leak when it's sitting, you go out and till, and then all of a sudden there's some there, you know, oh, okay, I'm only losing fluid when I'm tilling. I'm going to keep my eyes on it. I'm going to make sure that the level is good before I even go till. And I'm going to put this on my like whiteboard in my shop that like I got a leak here. Watch it, and I'm going to tell anyone that is going to use the tiller, hey, we might have a leak here. Keep your eyes on it. Just please check it before you use it.
Okay, so this guy had only one nipple for greasing?
Yep.
That side?
Yep, that side, and then it's got the oil. It might have one. Oh yeah, so he's missing it right there. You guys can get a good visual right there. Yeah. So this thing might have broke free. You can see how this looks like it had actually gotten free and all that. So that's a threaded hole for a Zerk.
He's getting no grease.
So that one's getting no grease. So I would go get a Zerk and throw it in there.
Right here.
It's inside this universal joint. So you'll have these in the cars too. Cars have them when you buy the nice universal joint. They have a greasable.
And the Zerks you get at
Freebies, Auto Parts, yeah, wherever Napa. The best thing to do would be to grab one from somewhere else in the machine, because they'll keep all of them the same, but they have different sizes, right? Just like everything. So I'd bring one from your machine and say, hey, might as well get a 10-pack. They're like $4 or something for a 10-pack. So you just get a 10-pack, you have some on hand. Yeah, if you had a thread gauge, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They do them metric and standard, so yeah, it's like, that's why I say the easiest is to just grab an old one. Like this machine was probably made in Japan, and so it's going to be all metric. Everything on it is going to be metric. And they probably use like 6 different types of bolts or something, and all the same thread pitch. So once you kind of narrow that down, then you can say like, oh, okay, I'm going to go buy my assorted pack of all this kind of stuff instead of saying I need metric and standard and, you know, all over here. But if you don't know, if you don't, you know, an easy way would be if you have an assortment bin of bolts of like all your extra stuff, and you find one that threads in there, you could take that to them and be like, I need a Zerk with this on the end. You know, this screw pattern on the end. Yeah, I mean, the nipple is standard, but the threads change.
The count of threads this way, you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, this way they're pretty standard. It's width and thread pitch. So how many per inch? Okay. Basically, that changes.
And the diameter.
Yep. So, yeah, other adjustments that you guys have on this machine, just to go more into tiller stuff, is you can adjust how much this tiller bites by adjusting the third point in the hitch. So you can pull this in or out, and essentially it'll rock this back and forth. Like I'm going to be putting in sod or something, you know, and I only want to go 2 inches. I can put these skis down, so even when I go all the way to the ground, it's only going to, you know, take off the top. You have on this side, on the right side, this will adjust if you were going to, let's say, I'm going to go till on contour, right? And so I want to till flat, but I know that I'm on the edge. I can actually bring one side of this up or down, right? But and then I can go till, so that the tiller is flat, but the tractor is off a little bit as it drives. A lot of times they replace these with hydraulics, and now a lot of the new machines have the hydraulics hooked up to electronics that are fed by a laser, and so it sits there and it auto adjusts. So you drive, it'll make level every time.
Is this level, are these two connected, or these are two independent reservoirs of gear oil, you think?
So these are probably independent. The shaft connects them, and that guy probably has a fill up to this level and I overflow hole.
It's got like a dipstick.
Oh, it's got a dipstick.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this guy's got a dipstick, so it's probably sealed here, and this is just a shaft and a bearing on that side. Or it probably is open in this tube, and then they have a seal on this side so that this bearing gets lubricated by the oil sitting in here, just like a car. Another, oh, so they got uppers. Okay, so that thing's separated. Interesting. This one may be an air vent. We could pull it off and see. But so basically from this level down is in oil, and there's a big chain in here. And so when this thing spins around, it pulls oil all the way up and throws it up here. So I feel like, and when you see this little cap here, they don't want this to pressurize inside there, because if this were to be sealed and all of a sudden that oil heats up, then everything wants to expand, and then the weakest point is going to blow out. And that's probably going to be this little paper gasket. So to prevent that, they put these guys in, which are basically air vents. So this one happens to be dipstick and an air vent, all made into the same thing. But I bet if we were to pull this one off, this would be open inside. It would just be air up there. Adjustable wrenches are great to always have somewhere on the tractor, so when you're out in the field, you know, and something goes wrong or something starts to loosen up on you, you can go and use it. If I'm doing service work, I'm not going to use an adjustable wrench. I'm going to have the tractor sitting next to my toolbox, and I'm going to use the right wrenches. Adjustable wrenches are great when you need them. They can also round off bolts because you don't get them tight enough or you're trying to break something free, and they just don't have the same clamping power as a traditional wrench. So I use them when I have to and avoid them when I can. Is normally what's going on here.
What does that mean?
Okay, so based on what I've just explained, what would that tell you about what might be going on in there?
The train's hitting it.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh wow, what happened?
Yeah, so with where this is positioned in here, I'd say that most likely this probably has a tensioner in it somewhere, and that tensioner could be going bad, or, I mean, this is a rototiller, so like someone could have hit a big rock, you know, enough to where that, you know, to that where that chain jumped and actually slapped this guy. You know, with this, yeah, and you can, you know, I can put my finger in there and I can feel that the tensioner is working. It is tensioning in there. So I would say that, you know, this could have been,
Been like that for a while.
yeah, this could have been like an incident
Yeah.
that did that, because chain spinning around would only take once to do that. You know, this is aluminum, really soft.
So this you think is probably for air, and
Mhm.
you're filling there.
Mm-hmm. Or you're filling and checking. This probably stops here or there.
And then you fill here, and you want it to be up so you can see it on this little
Yep.
funny glass.
Yep.
Wait, do you fill on this side or only over here?
So these two units are separate oil. Yeah.
Put some in here, and you put some in there,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oil goes in up here,
and here.
and up here. Yeah.
That was a dipstick, right?
That one's a dipstick. This one's a sight glass.
Okay.